there, it's Laurie Hoke. Thank you for joining. I want to ask you a question today. Do you struggle to ask for help from others? Is it hard for you to come to the point of, one, realizing you can't do it on your own, and two, reaching out to see who could come alongside you in that? That's something that many people feel is a sign as though they personally failed if they weren't able to perform it on their own. Some people feel that's super uncomfortable. Is that you? To put yourself out there and risk being rejected, right? What if they say no? What does that say about you? What does that say about your connection with them? There's all sorts of reasons why we don't ask for help and support from others, which is why the bottom line I want to emphasize to you today is that one of the most courageous things you can do as a leader is ask for help. You see, asking for help creates new opportunities that wouldn't exist if you were trying to press through independently. I think asking for help positions you possibly, in a vulnerable way, but in a way that connects with others much more easily, much more deeply. Do you long for deeper connection in your relationships? Do you have people in your life that you want to move forward with, but right now it just feels like they're a name or an acquaintance or a team member or staff member that you know of but don't really know? My challenge to you is simple. Ask for their help with something. How profound, right? You'd be amazed at what results in a relationship when someone has been willing to risk, their sense of self and their perceived what it means to be strong by erroneously thinking you're supposed to do it all on their own. When they're willing to set that aside and lean in and say, hey, I need you for this. Can you help me out here? Wow. It's amazing what a rallying cry that is, that draws others towards you and causes them, in most cases, to want to see how they could serve and support you in what you're working on. This has been true for me in different dimensions of my life. Personally, it used to be really hard for me to ask people for help watching my kids. Whether it was a babysitter or a family friend or just another mom, it was really hard for me to put myself out there and feel like I was putting a burden on someone else to assist me with childcare for a few hours. That felt really, really threatening to me. I think probably because I didn't want to bother them was the way I justified it to myself, but rather I think it was that I didn't want to lean on anybody else. I didn't want to risk them saying no and creating this friction, possibly. I also didn't want to make them feel obligated to say yes. Wow. Do you hear how much of this situation how much of the responsibility I'm putting on myself, rather than being able to make a clear, clean, and direct ask and empowering the recipient to either say yes or no? Why does it get so garbled up inside our minds that keeps us from doing this? Why not just put it on the table and let them decide if it's something they want to partake in or not? Wow. So asking for help, what I've seen with people, when I make a request of them, whether that's, hey, Do you have any extra zucchini in your garden? I would love some if you have an abundance you're willing to share. Right? That's pretty simple and allows them the opportunity to serve the overflow of their gardening passion with my family. What about asking for help with family needs or carpooling or childcare, whatever that might be? What about asking for help simply from someone, maybe in the professional sense, that you're admitting you don't have the contacts or resources that are needed for the project or task, but instead you know that they could help you in ways that could supplement what you're currently working on. My experience over the last few weeks is that the reason most people don't ask for help are twofold. The insecurity, the discomfort it causes them of what that means about themselves or what that would be putting on someone else, but also because we're not clear what we really need. We're not clear on what it is that would help move us forward. Now, this is obviously a bigger sense than just needing a babysitter for Wednesday night, but rather, where are you really at? That takes a lot of self-awareness to be able to say, what am I going to do? What do I need to take the next step? Some conversations I've had recently felt like making an ask of someone is taking advantage of them. I feel it's the exact opposite. I feel making an ask of someone for help in whatever capacity is a way of saying, 1, I see you. 2, I value you. And 3, I see you have something that I don't have or that I am lacking, but you have it clearly, and I would like to partake in that. Can you share that gift with me? People love to let their gifts shine to help and serve others. It is not a burden on them. It is often the biggest gift you can give them, is an opportunity to be who they are in a way that will benefit you. That fills their cup. I love it. So we need to be clear on what we need. Recently, I had an experience where I was just off. Have you ever had one of those days where you're just off? Yeah. When I progressed through the day and had different situations where I was giving it my best, I was pressing on, trying to kind of find my sweet spot, but it wasn't working. I finally get home after a busy day. It's late in the evening, and I knew that I needed help. I had a lot of commitments and responsibilities the following day. It's like, Laurie Hoke needs to show up tomorrow powerfully. So I asked for help. I have a close friend / coach that I knew would be available if I needed it. And so I sent a simple text. It was clear, it was direct, it was powerful. I need help. Can you talk in 15 minutes? Boom. Wow. When somebody makes an ask of you like that, being so raw and vulnerable yet powerful, and saying, I need you, can you help me out? We talked on the phone for an hour and a half. I got a huge breakthrough, and I had an epic home run next day because I was willing to ask for help instead of sitting in my struggle solo. When struggle comes, again, on any capacity, whether you're a mom or an executive, when struggle comes, when there's something that you need a solution for, do you dig and mine and try to find it within yourself, sitting in that solo? Or do you extend an ask to your circle of support and to your sphere to see who could come alongside you and create this epic connection that may have never been an open door to cultivate if you hadn't had the guts to make the ask. So sit with that. What's one relationship you would like to strengthen? And if so, how could you think of a way that they could provide something that you need? That's one way to implement this. The other thing to consider is, where do you need some help or assistance? We're not created to do this on our own. So take inventory of your life and see, here's an area where I need help in. Maybe it's hiring a house cleaner to help you there, to lean on someone else and show you're taking a brave stand to make you more available for your calling. Maybe it's bringing in a mentor into your life. Maybe it's bringing in a mentee to say, I've got all this talent and perspective and I just want to pour into somebody. Maybe it's bringing in a peer network of sorts where you can lean on them to brainstorm and cultivate new insights that you can't have just with your one perspective. So think of ways that this next 3 days, let's make that the goal. Think of one way you can extend and ask for help and watch and see what results. Knowing that their response is not a reflection on you personally, you can empower them to give a yes or a no. I've found even when people say a no, there was a deepening in the relationship that resulted because I was willing to ask, even if they weren't able to fulfill the request. So what's the bottom line? Asking for help is a home run. Are you among the brave who are willing to do it?